Norah O'Donnell was doing well, juggling a busy job, raising her family, and handling daily life. But one regular afternoon in 2016, everything changed with a phone call. While shopping for sheets and towels, her doctor called with bad news. She had melanoma, a type of skin cancer. She had never really thought about it because she felt and looked healthy. However, underneath, something serious was happening. Norah had to undergo urgent surgery where doctors took off a 3-inch piece of skin from her back. Thankfully, the cancer had not spread, but the experience affected her deeply, beyond just the scar. It made her realize that life can change suddenly. Since that day, Norah's life has changed a lot. She goes for regular checkups, has constant biopsies, and lives with the worry of what if. Instead of letting fear control her, she decided to turn her experience into something positive. Norah's journey with skin cancer began long before a phone call changed everything. Growing up in San Antonio, Texas, she spent a lot of time outside in the sun. Like many teenagers, she wanted a tan and didn't think much about sunscreen or the dangers of too much sun. Back then, it was just a normal part of life. Although her dad was a doctor and prioritized health, he didn't pay much attention to the risks of skin cancer. When she was little, Norah's family moved frequently because her dad was in the military. They spent a few years in South Korea, where Norah loved being outdoors, playing, and exploring. While in South Korea, she got her first job recording English lessons for Korean students. This was her first experience speaking into a camera, which later became her career. After returning to Texas, Norah attended Douglas MacArthur High School, where she was a dedicated student, always working hard. In school, she loved reading and asking questions, which helped her later as a journalist. Like many teenagers, she didn't think about her long-term health. Tanning was trendy, and she and her friends spent a lot of time in the sun without worrying about skin damage. It wasn't until she went to Georgetown University that she began to think more about health and wellness. The busy life in college and Washington, D.C. made it tough to manage everything, but she knew she had to pay attention to her health. Staying healthy was important to her. Years later, when she started her first job in journalism, the long hours and frequent travel made it harder to focus on her health. She often didn't have time for regular doctor visits, and she regrets that now, especially after being diagnosed with melanoma. Everything changed after that. She became more careful about small things like wearing sunscreen every day and ensuring her kids did too. The scar on her back served as a daily reminder of how crucial regular checkups are. She realized that looking good wasn't as important as staying healthy. Many people, like her, skip checkups because they feel fine. That's why she began talking about how to prevent skin cancer. Sharing her story was tough, but if it helped even one person catch a problem early, it was worth it. She encouraged others to get their skin checked regularly, use sunscreen, and take their health seriously. Norah also learned that melanoma can affect anyone, regardless of their skin type. Having dark skin or only getting a little sun doesn't mean that skin cancer can't happen. Norah often thinks about how fortunate she was that her doctor found her cancer early. If she had waited, things could have turned out very differently. Over the years, she has become more careful about sun protection. She keeps sunscreen at her front door, in her car, and in her purse. Her kids know the rule: no pink faces and no sunburns. She wants them to learn from her experiences and take care of their skin from a young age, not just to prevent skin cancer. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Norah came to strongly believe in preventive healthcare. She noticed that many people skipped their regular doctor visits. Some felt afraid to go to medical offices, while others simply didn't have the time. As a busy mom and journalist, she also found it hard to keep up with her own appointments. However, she realizes that delaying these visits can lead to bigger health issues later on. This experience has made her a more understanding journalist, especially when she reports on health stories. She understands how tough it is to hear bad news from a doctor and how difficult it can be to deal with it. She knows that looking after yourself isn't always easy, but it's important. For Norah, the main lesson is clear. Don't wait. Don't wait until something feels off to see a doctor. Don't wait to start using sunscreen. Don't wait to prioritize your health. She hopes that by sharing her story, more people will take steps to protect their health before it's too late. Norah has helped raise awareness about skin cancer, but she still gets nervous every few months when it's time for her skin check. She worries about what they might find, but she goes because she understands that catching any issues early gives her the best chance. Before she became a well-known advocate for skin cancer awareness, Norah was just a young woman with big dreams starting her career in journalism after high school. In Texas, she packed her bags and went to Washington, D.C. to attend Georgetown University. This fast-paced city was full of new opportunities and challenges. She studied philosophy, thinking deeply about important questions and the world around her. However, journalism had always been a passion for her. She loved telling stories, asking questions, and trying to understand the world. While studying, she also wanted real experience, so she began working as a staff writer for Roll Call. Norah got to experience how politics works by working in Congress. She found it exciting and learned that being a reporter is about more than just writing. It involves digging deeper, asking hard questions, and not accepting simple answers. After she earned her degree in 1995, she returned to Georgetown to get a master's degree in liberal studies in 2003. By then, her career was taking off. She got a job at NBC News, where she spent the next 12 years growing and learning. At NBC, Norah covered major news stories in the country. She worked as a White House correspondent, traveled with presidents, and was a familiar face on The Today Show and NBC Nightly News, keeping viewers updated on politics and important issues. She also stepped in as a host on Hardball with Chris Matthews, demonstrating her skill in handling challenging political conversations. Although juggling all these roles was demanding, Norah managed to excel under pressure. Whether she was reporting from the White House lawn or a studio, Norah brought the same energy and commitment to every story. She believed that good journalism is not only about sharing facts, but also about making those facts relevant to people's lives. In 2011, CBS News recognized her talent and hired her as their chief White House correspondent. This was a big opportunity, and Norah was prepared for it. She reported on important events, from political scandals to international conflicts. Norah's reporting was known for being clear and relatable, which earned her people's trust. By 2012, she became a co-anchor on CBS This Morning, working with a team that wanted to present serious news in a new way. Although the mornings were hectic and the hours were long, Norah enjoyed being part of something important. She interviewed world leaders, celebrities, and ordinary people with meaningful stories. Throughout her work, she stayed dedicated to delivering the truth in a way that resonated with people. Norah had many memorable experiences while working at CBS This Morning. She reported on elections, natural disasters, and important news events that impacted the world. However, she also faced personal struggles. In 2019, during a family trip for spring break, she experienced a sharp pain in her side. Initially, she thought it was nothing serious, but after 5 days of discomfort, she went to the hospital. There she found out she had appendicitis. Despite this, Norah remained dedicated to her journalist instincts and shared her experience. In 2019, Norah achieved a big milestone in her career by becoming the anchor and managing editor of CBS Evening News. She was only the third woman to take on this role. Despite the pressure, Norah tackled it with hard work and determination, always making sure to get the story right. During her time at CBS, she conducted important interviews and reported on major events, including the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2020, during the pandemic, Norah was a steady and calming presence as she covered the election and shifting political scene. In 2024, she made news again by interviewing Pope Francis at the Vatican. Their discussion included serious and sometimes controversial topics, highlighting Norah's skill in asking challenging questions respectfully. Despite her achievements, Norah recognized that change was on the horizon. In mid-2024, she announced she would leave CBS Evening News after the presidential election to pursue new opportunities. Norah has a new job as a senior correspondent, where she will focus on detailed reporting and special projects. It was a mixed feeling for her, but she was prepared for this new chapter. Her final broadcast was originally scheduled for January 24, 2025, but it was moved up a day due to the Farmers Insurance Open. Saying goodbye was tough, but Norah felt proud of the impact she had made in the industry. She reflected on her journey from a young girl in Texas to becoming one of the most respected journalists in the country, a path she had never imagined. She stayed dedicated to sharing important stories. She believed journalism could change lives and make the world better. And she held on to that belief in every report, interview, and broadcast. She also had strong support from her personal life. Outside of her work, her husband Jeff Tracy was always by her side, especially during her busy days and late nights. They met early on in her career. While in line at the cafeteria at Georgetown University, Norah met Jeff during her first week on campus. Jeff started talking to her by mentioning a sweatshirt his roommate was wearing. This small conversation grew into something much bigger. Jeff felt love at first sight, while it took Norah a bit more time. Eventually, they became inseparable. After dating for several years, they got married in 2001 at Georgetown's Dahlgren Chapel. Washington, D.C. became an important part of their story as they built their life together there. Norah's journalism career took off while Jeff followed his passion for cooking. After graduating from Georgetown, Jeff attended the Culinary Institute of America and opened his first restaurant, Chef Jeff's, by the time they got married. He went on to open more successful restaurants. While Norah reported on politics and world events, Jeff made a name for himself in the DC food scene. Their relationship grew stronger because they supported each other. Norah often mentioned that her mother gave her the best advice. Norah married her best friend Jeff. He made her laugh, supported her during tough times, and understood her busy work schedule at the newsroom and during elections. When they had twins, Henry and Grace, and later a daughter named Riley, life got even busier. Raising 3 kids while both had demanding jobs was challenging, but they found a way to manage. Cooking became important to their family, and they even wrote a cookbook together. Baby Love is focused on healthy and tasty meals for babies and toddlers. They believe in making homemade food instead of buying baby food. Norah often shared how she'd hurry home from work to prepare fresh apples, steaming and blending them into applesauce. Simple, healthy, and made with care. Despite their busy lives, Norah and Jeff always made time for their kids, attending soccer games and school events to show their children they mattered. However, managing everything wasn't easy, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. During the pandemic, things were particularly difficult for Norah. She was dealing with one of the biggest health crises of her career while working long hours from home. On top of that, she had to help with remote schooling and take care of everyday parenting tasks. Conference calls often took place while she was making breakfast, and her kids sometimes interrupted important meetings with questions about the printer. It was a hectic time, but they got through it together as a team. Jeff really helped out during these tough times, whether it was by cooking dinner after a long day or offering support. Norah often expressed how important it was to have a supportive partner like Jeff. It helped her balance her job and family life. As their kids grew up, Norah shared meaningful moments with her audience, like prom nights and driving lessons, while also feeling a bit sad about how quickly they were growing up. No matter how busy they were, Norah and Jeff always made time to celebrate their special moments, like their wedding anniversaries. Their family was always her strongest source of joy and strength. Jeff often shared his love for Norah online, calling himself a lucky guy. Even when Norah faced tough times in her career and health, Jeff always offered his support. He stood by her during her melanoma diagnosis and surgery, and when she recovered from an emergency appendicitis in 2019, he made sure she had everything needed to rest and heal. As Norah achieved great things in journalism, Jeff worked hard to grow his restaurant business into a success. Norah worked for a group with many locations in the DC area, where she excelled in her field while also prioritizing time for her family. As her career grew, she received many awards and honors. She was named one of Washington's 100 Most Powerful Women by Washingtonian magazine and won several Emmy Awards for her investigative reporting. One of her greatest achievements was a 6-month investigation into sexual assault at the Air Force Academy, which won an Emmy. In 2018, Norah was honored by the White House Correspondents Association. However, the most important reward for her was the positive effect she had on people's lives after sharing her skin cancer story. Many viewers contacted her to say they went for checkups because of her, and some even found skin cancer early thanks to her efforts. These messages meant a lot to her. Outside of her journalism work, Norah became an advocate for health awareness, motivating people, especially women, to take care of their health by getting skin cancer screenings and more. Norah wants everyone to prioritize their health and never ignore it. Despite her battle with cancer, she believes in the power of hope, especially through early detection and modern medicine. She also finds hope in the support of her community, knowing her story can inspire others to take care of themselves. As she prepares to leave her job at CBS Evening News, Norah is excited for new opportunities, including more time with her family and special projects. Norah continues to promote health awareness because she understands that life can be uncertain. However, with the support of others, anything is achievable. Through her challenges and successes, she has realized that family, health, and passion are the most important things. Although her time as a news anchor may be ending, her positive influence will remain strong for many years.